Phase 1, the fortress.
The weight is the first thing you notice. 42 pounds of Type 4 ceramic and steel plating strapped to your torso, your shins, your thighs, and your forearms. You aren't a man anymore. You're an industrial accident waiting to happen. You look at Larry in the driver's seat. He's encased in the same black Kevlar shell. You both smell of gun oil and the sharp, medicinal scent of the phenobarbital you took to steady your nerves. It works. Your heart isn't racing. It's a slow, rhythmic thud against the breastplate. "Everything ready?" Larry asks. His voice is muffled by the balaclava. You don't answer. You just pat the drum magazine of the Romanian AK-47 resting across your knees. You have over 3,000 rounds of ammunition packed into this stolen white Chevy Celebrity. You have enough firepower to fight a small border war, and you're about to bring it to a quiet suburb in the San Fernando Valley. In exactly 9 minutes, the LAPD will realize they are outgunned for the first time in their history. You think you've built a bulletproof plan because you've built a bulletproof suit. But here is the problem. Armor makes you slow. And in a robbery, speed is the only thing that actually keeps you alive. By the time you realize that, you'll be trapped in a parking lot that has become a kill zone. Phase 2, the vault. 9:17 a.m. You step out of the Chevy. The sun is already hot, glinting off the asphalt of the Bank of America on Laurel Canyon Boulevard. You don't walk, you lumber. The steel plates shift and groan. You see a patrol car cruising by. Officers Lauren Farrell and Martin Perello. They see you too. They see two men in full black tactical gear and masks carrying assault rifles into a bank. They key their mics. The clock starts now. You kick the plexiglass door open. The sound is a gunshot in the quiet lobby. "Down! Everyone down!" Larry screams. You don't waste time with speeches. You point the AK at the ceiling and let a burst go. Plaster rains down like snow. The smell of cordite fills the room. You watch a businessman in a suit dive under a desk, his eyes wide, fixed on the drum mag of your rifle. You move toward the vault. This is the moment of peak confidence. You've studied the schedules. You know the delivery times. You expect at least $750,000. You find the assistant manager and shove the barrel of the rifle into the small of his back. He fumbles with the keys, his hands shaking so violently he drops them twice. "Open it!" you hiss. The heavy steel door swings back. Your eyes search for the stacks. But the vault is nearly empty. The delivery was delayed. Instead of $750,000, you're looking at $303,000. It's a fraction of what you risked your life for. The phenobarbital keeps you calm, but the frustration starts to itch under the Kevlar. You start stuffing the cash into the bags anyway. You don't know yet that while you're bagging the wrong amount of money, 20 police officers are already forming a perimeter outside. Phase 3, the lead rain. You exit the bank expecting a clear path to the Chevy. Instead, you see a sea of black and white cruisers. The air is silent for a heartbeat. Then, the first command comes over a megaphone. "Drop the weapons!" Larry doesn't hesitate. He raises his HK-91 and opens fire. You follow suit. The noise is deafening, a relentless, rhythmic pounding that echoes off the concrete walls of the shopping center. You aren't aiming at specific targets. You're suppressing. You see the police diving for cover behind their car doors. But their doors are made of thin sheet metal and plastic. Your 7.62mm rounds punch through the cruisers like they're made of paper. You see an officer go down, then another. You feel invincible. You stand in the middle of the parking lot, feet planted, taking hits to your chest. You feel the impact, a dull thud, like someone punched you with a boxing glove. But the bullets don't penetrate. They flatten against the ceramic. You're a tank in a world of glass. "Move to the car!" Larry shouts over the roar of the gunfire. You're 5 minutes into the shootout. You've fired hundreds of rounds. The LAPD is panicking. They're firing back with 9mm Berettas and .38 specials. To you, it's like being pelted with pebbles. You think you've won. You think you're just going to drive away. But then you hear a new sound. A deeper, sharper crack. The SWAT teams are arriving, and they aren't carrying handguns. Phase 4, the puncture. The adrenaline is finally starting to bypass the sedatives. You reach the Chevy, but Larry isn't getting in. He's using the car as a rolling shield, walking beside it as he drives with one hand, firing over the roof with the other. The plan is disintegrating. You're moving at a walking pace in a neighborhood crawling with reinforcements. Suddenly, the Chevy's tires hiss and collapse. The radiator is shredded. Steam billows from the hood, masking your vision. You're trapped on Archwood Street. The arbor that made you a god 10 minutes ago is now a coffin. It's too heavy to run in. You're sweating buckets inside the suit, your vision blurring. You look over at Larry. He's trying to clear a jam in his rifle. He's standing behind a parked truck. You see a flash from a second-story window, a marksman. Larry's rifle falls. He reaches for his pistol, clears the jam, and then puts the barrel under his own chin. The muzzle flash is the last thing you see of your partner. You're alone. You abandon the Chevy and try to commandeer a yellow pickup truck, but the driver has fled with the keys. You crouch behind the truck, fumbling with your rifle. Your fingers are slick with blood and sweat. You try to reload, but a round has cooked off in the chamber. The gun is useless. You're a warrior without a weapon, dressed in 50 pounds of metal, surrounded by 100 men who want you dead. Phase 5, the Asphalt. Give it up!
It's over!
A voice screams from behind a wall of cruisers. You don't give it up. You reach for the pistol at your hip. You drop to the ground, trying to fire from under the chassis of the truck. This is the flaw in the suit. The armor covers your chest, your back, and your limbs. But to move, there have to be gaps. As you lie on the pavement, your lower legs are exposed. The police have figured it out. They aren't aiming for your heart anymore. They're aiming for the asphalt. You feel the first hit in your left calf, then the right. It's not a thud this time. It's white-hot iron. You scream, but the sound is lost in the final barrage. They're skipping rounds off the concrete, sending lead up under the hem of your Kevlar leggings. You take 29 hits to the legs. The pavement is hot against your face. The smell of gasoline and blood is overwhelming. You try to lift the pistol one last time, but your arm won't obey. You watch the SWAT boots approach. They don't look like heroes. They look like a foregone conclusion. They kick the gun away from your hand. You lie there for minutes that feel like hours. You bleed out into the gutter of a street you thought you would own. You wanted glory and a mountain of cash. Instead, you got an empty vault and a slow death on a Tuesday morning in North Hollywood. You realize, as the light fades, that you weren't a tank. You were just a target that took a little longer to break. There is no getaway.